Okay, it's time to play some fighting games and answer some questions, with special guest the back half of my actual human son, who does not wish to show his face, apparently. If you're wondering which side I'm on, Android 21, the blue one, with Kefla, that's me. Somebody else actually played Android 21, it was a rare day, So, first off, on the question of balance, what would you do if the majority of people said X hero is broken but may in fact not be broken? This following on from a question from last week in which I basically said we should listen to the majority rather than the minority in terms of game balance. I'm prepared to follow this hypothetical all the way through. If the majority of people say that the hero is broken and I disagree, then, you know, that sucks. That's the thing when you listen to the majority. Sometimes you're going to be in the minority and it's not going to feel very good. But hey, that's life, you know? Oh, my son, there he goes. Perhaps? Yes, okay. Sometimes you're going to be in the minority rather than the majority, and it's going to feel bad. But, like, if the majority thinks X is broken and I disagree, then by all means. This has already kind of happened with Bridget, because I was never of the opinion that Bridget was as overpowered as people said that she is. It's just that most people are bad and don't like to play around CC. If you would like further evidence of this point, please refer to Roadhog having been buffed in this patch. There's already some complaining going on about that one, as all hook heroes are destined to have if they aren't just completely useless. So, I mean, what would I do? Fuck all I can do. If I'm in the minority, you know, I can state my opinion about the matter, and if the majority continues to disagree, such is life. So, next up, how do you manage your barrier as Sigma? When I play him, and Reinhardt as well, I'm constantly having to debate whether I want to block spam-like damage like Junkrat bombs, or risk having my team dying to spam damage while we're engaging. So, I mean, it's always difficult when you're playing against a spammy team like that, because barriers, for the most part, aren't really healthy enough to really endure much spam anymore. Reinhardt does the best, but he's still gonna have a lot of trouble if you're playing against a really spammy team. So, you're saying while engaging, if you're specifically engaging the fight, you do want to block the damage while you're going in, because you're gonna take a lot of damage while you're engaging the fight against a spammy team, so you do want to be blocking it until you're fully engaged on them. The harder part for me is always like when it's kind of in that point in between, where it's like, a fight's about to start, but you're not sure exactly when it's gonna start, and both teams are kind of posturing aggressively. Because then, like, you don't know if you're actually gonna go in yet, but you know you want to go in soon. You know what I mean. I'm sure it's I'm not explaining it terribly well, but you know what I mean, I'm sure. The thing is with, like, Junkrat spam is ideally you never have to block any of it, because for the most part Junkrat spam is fairly dodgeable, unless you're going through like a narrow choke point, in which case, maybe don't go that way against a Junkrat. The problem is your teammates can't always be trusted, so you have to kind of take it on a game-by-game basis in this regard of like, how stupid are my teammates, more or less? Like, are they just gonna walk out in the middle of traffic and get fucking murdered? In which case, I'm gonna have to block more spam than I really want to. The best thing you can do is pretty much just try and go around as much cover as you can, try and avoid approaching through like narrow choke points where you're going to take the most damage from a spammy team. There's usually a different way to go around that's better for like health shield management and just like in general not taking spam damage. For example, you're attacking on Temple of Anubis, the obvious one. You look left on the first checkpoint, you see there's a Junkrat in there, you go, maybe we won't go that way today. And that makes it easier, because then Junkrat also has to, like, rotate round to, actually start spamming at you again. So try and take, like, alternative routes so you don't have to just kind of take the spam damage on the chin as much as possible. Try and play around cover, but this is kind of a general thing you want to do as a tank anyway. Play around cover as much as you possibly can. And it's just gonna be really difficult to judge. You pretty much have to just decide, are my teammates going to take a fuck ton of damage right now? I have to block, you know, or are they likely to, I guess. And if the answer is yes, then you're just going to have to kind of take it on the chin and, like, block more than you'd like to, which is going to make it harder to actually then engage the fight. It's difficult. With Sigma, you're pretty much fucked, to be honest. This is mostly from the perspective of Reinhardt more than anything else. Sigma is just kind of fucked in regards to blocking spam damage. The best you can do with Sigma is try and block as much as you possibly can with Kinetic Grasp rather than the shield. Just like walk up in front of your team and just like absorb as much of the spam as you can, and then you use your shield as well. Still have to use your shield, obviously, but try and get as much as you can with Kinetic Grasp. But you're just kind of fucked. Sigma's shield is not healthy, and it doesn't regen quickly. So he's really fucked against a spam-heavy team. He needs another shield tank with him to get any kind of efficiency at all out of, like, playing against a spammy team. Reinhardt, his shield's big enough, it regens decently fast, you know, he does better against a spammy team. Sigma is just always gonna be kind of fucked without another shield to hide behind. But that's kinda it, you know? It's never gonna be especially easy. That's about the best you can do, at least as Rein. And if Sigma, I'm sorry, more or less. Change to a different shield tank if you're playing against a really spammy team, or if you can't get, like, the other tank to help you out, which you probably can't, because he's probably playing Roadhog right now. Oh, you buff Roadhog once and every game's got 2 Roadhogs in it, just immediately. Isn't it amazing? So yeah, sorry, that's kind of the best I've got. Which is not the answer you want to hear, like Sigma specifically. Yay. They've nerfed his shield a lot of times. Yeah, they've nerfed it a lot. It's just very hard. So, that's about the best I've got for you. I'm sorry, you probably hoped for more. So next up is, scroll down to the other question, which is further down than that. Oh god, there it is. What sort of games do you have in the queue to play over on the Let's Play channel? What sort of games are you interested in playing on the other side but don't currently own? I don't really think about it very far ahead of time, to be honest with you. I tend to usually just finish playing one and then go, alright, now what? There's a game called Metal Wolf. The fuck is it? Hold on. Let me go over. It's got some kind of weird ass name. It just looks fucking absurd, is the main reason that I want to play this game, to be honest with you. So I'm having to look at it on my Steam wish list. Metal Wolf Chaos XD. It just looks fucking absurd and ridiculous, which I'm a big fan of. It has a very similar vibe as, like, Metal Gear Rising, but, like, if it took itself even less seriously. And then, like, what else would I play that I don't own? Yeah. Oh, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is on Steam. I liked Valkyria Chronicles 1. The others were on the PSP, so I'm fuck out of luck with those two. Unless they decide to port them over, which, you know, stranger things have happened, but probably not. Those are the only ones I can think of that I don't own that I'd maybe play. I don't know, I don't really think about it that much ahead of time. Let me look at the other games I actually have that I'd think about. If only they would release the other fucking Yakuza games, dude, then I'd be set for the next, like, 3 years. It'd be great. I can't really think of anything else offhand. There's, like... Mechanicus is, like, a pretty good game. It's, like, the best-made 40k game ever, and is just, like, a good turn-based strategy game, but, like, that would probably be pretty repetitive to watch. No, I can't really think of anything else. I don't think about these things too far ahead of time, to be honest with you. Are there any games coming out that you're looking forward to playing or hearing about? I mean, there's a game... The only thing I can think of offhand is there's a game coming out called Necromunda. What's its subtitle? Hold on. Necromunda. This is another 40k game, but you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at it immediately. Necro... Barista? Not quite. Necromunda Underhive Wars. That one's coming out next month. I'm pretty into that. Anything 40k comes out, I'm pretty much into it, basically. Necromunda's a very unusual one for a 40k game to be based around, so I'm interested to see what they do about that one. Is there anything else coming out that I can really think of? I try not to follow news about games that are like really far ahead of coming. They're making a Bleach game? Why? I tend to not follow news about video games that are like way far off because I'm impatient and I don't like to wait. There's a game called Yakuza Empires that's coming out that looks pretty good, but that doesn't even have a release date right now. So that's like really far off probably. Are there any other... I'm just looking at like the upcoming games right now to see if there's any other games coming out that I'm interested in right now. In the near future, anyway. If it's like fucking years off, fuck if I know, dude. I'm interested to see what the Marvel Avengers game is like, but I don't really hold out too much hope about that one, to be honest with you. It looks interesting, but I doubt I'll be that excited about it. Is there anything else at all? Making another Serious Sam game? Why? Serious Sam was never good, okay? If any of you were ever into Serious Sam back in the day, it was never good. You all got deceived into liking that game. Yeah, no, there's nothing else coming out that I'm really interested in. Most of the stuff that I'm interested in right now is kind of already out, to be honest with you. I am just way too poor to afford these things. Like, Bayonetta 2 is on the Switch. Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I still haven't played that. I still want to play that. An Ace Combat came out that I haven't played still. I really like Ace Combat. That Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, you know. Even the Attack on Titan game was actually really good, and they released a sequel to that I haven't played that also looks really good. Like, Octopath Traveler I still haven't played. What else? There's something I'm forgetting that also came out. I can't remember it right now. Yeah, most of the stuff that I want to play right now is like already out for the most part. There isn't really too much coming out. The one I'm most interested in that's coming out is Necromunda. But you gamble pretty hard when you're like waiting for a 40k game to come out because there's a high probability it's going to be absolutely fucking terrible. It looks like it'll be good, but it's one of those things like when you're buying a fucking Call of Cthulhu game or a Lovecraft-inspired game. You never know what you're gonna get, but sometimes it's good and sometimes it's Call of Cthulhu, the official video game. That has to be one of the most disappointing experiences I've had in recent years. Anyway, enough about that one now. Let's move on. Let's see, what do we got over here? Your thoughts on Final Fantasy XIV's 5.3 patch lore rise, just to be safe on the safe side, no spoilers. I mean, it was the conclusion to the Shadowbringers story, and it was like as good as you could expect it to be, given that like the start of Shadowbringers set like a really high bar. It was a very good story. Way better than an MMO has any right to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, Elidibus showed up, and he hasn't really had that much screen time up until now. He always seemed really boring. He ended up being really interesting when he actually showed up in this patch. The trial's really good. The Nier stuff is really good. They're just like doing a lot of weird stuff, pretty much, which is cool. I mean, when you get fucking Yoko Taro involved in something, it's always going to end up being a little bit weird, isn't it? I don't really like the Nier stuff, to be like story-wise at the very least. I think it's actually pretty terrible, as far as the lore goes, which doesn't exactly come as a massive surprise. The content's cool and all, you know, great fashion comes out of it, but like the story for Nier is like pretty bad, to be honest. It's just really weird to think about that, like, the Nier content in Final Fantasy XIV is canon to Nier, but it is not canon to Final Fantasy XIV. Some people are probably like, they put Nier in Final Fantasy XIV? Yeah, they did. It's really fucking weird that it's there, but it's there. So yeah, no spoilers. It's good. Surprising how well Elidibus turned out as a character for his first, like, real major appearance. Yeah, you know, found out a lot of background stuff about the world that we've kind of wondered about, so that's cool, but, is kind of all ancient history, so not massively relevant right now. Time Mage is going to be the next job. Time Mage and Geomancer are going to be the two next jobs. I'm going to lock thy choices in right now. Alice is going to turn into a Time Mage also. Or a Geomancer, maybe, but probably a Time Mage. And, yeah. That's it, yeah, it's good. It was good. Next up, does the Roadhog buff make him a viable off-tank to use, generally speaking, or is he still heavily outclassed by the other off-tanks? This would be for the rank ladder, as I don't really care about Overwatch League viability. You and me both, brother. So, yes, he's good again, as far as I'm concerned. He's probably still not better than Zarya for most situations, but Zarya is really hard to compete with. You know, Zarya is just, like, really fucking strong. And it's hard to beat, like, the Bubbles utility and then Graviton Surge as, like, utility ultimate, right? Like, it's just really good. Roadhog's actually threatening by himself again, which by itself is enough to, like, justify picking fuck, I keep calling him Junkrat. Makes it easy to justify picking Roadhog again, as far as I'm concerned, because he's actually threatening. He's actually kind of spooky to play against again. He can one-shot people easily, which people are none too happy about. But I think he is, like, definitely viable, and he probably beats Zarya in some circumstances now. Like, particularly against, like, divers and flankers. I think that Roadhog probably beats Zarya most of the time now that Roadhog can more consistently kill people on those team comps, basically. He could always be annoying and kill them before, but, like, it's easier now. It's significantly more consistent at the very least. So, yeah, he's definitely worth picking. He's scarier. Like, for me, he's scarier to fight against right now than Zarya is in most circumstances, because Zarya still has the thing where if she hasn't got high energy, she's not particularly good. Roadhog is always scary at all points in time, unless his hook is down, you know, I guess. But the hook's cooldown is, like, lower than, like, Zarya getting from low charge to high charge, generally speaking. You know, Roadhog's more consistently scary than Zarya is, just, like, on a 1v1 level now. And he can actually, like, kind of fight people that he couldn't fight before, right? Like, Reaper would pretty much rinse Roadhog 9 times out of 10 now. It's probably closer to, like, 50-50 now. Like, you're still gonna need to actually do good at killing the Reaper as Roadhog, but it's way easier than it was. It's not just, like, a complete wash for you now. So yeah, I think he's definitely viable, generally speaking, again. Probably still beaten by Zarya in most circumstances. But, like, I think even then the difference is probably minor enough that you could justify picking Roadhog in a lot of those situations anyway. Particularly if you can't rely on your teammates to actually play around you. This is the thing with Roadhog, right? Significantly less teamwork required than Zarya. Zarya is going to require at least some teamwork. Graviton Surge is a really good ultimate, but it's not going to win the game entirely by itself. If you're playing with, like, a really passive tank, it's always going to be harder to play Zarya, you know? Doesn't really matter if you're playing Roadhog, because you can be plenty aggressive by yourself and try to get stuff done. You can, like, face tank the enemy team still, obviously, as Roadhog, but, you know, you're less dependent on the other tank doing something, because you can still be picking people off by yourself as Roadhog and getting stuff done that way. And, like, it doesn't matter how passive the other tank is. If he sees you hook in and kill Ana, he's gonna take that as, like, a decent chance to start going in now, probably. And if he doesn't, you got some bigger problems going on in that particular game right there, it seems, brother. So yeah, I think he's definitely viable to pick. I also don't care about the Overwatch League. Probably not especially viable in the Overwatch League for what it's worth, but I also don't really care. For ranked ladder, he's definitely viable again. Anytime Roadhog is actually scary to play against, like you're actually afraid he might kill you, he's probably good at that point in time, you know. Pre-patch, how seriously did you take Roadhog when you saw him? Probably not super serious. Like a good chance that, like, no matter who you were playing, if he hooked you, you were probably going to live unless multiple of them started ganging up on you, which is not exactly consistent in Overwatch. You can't exactly depend on a lot of people working with you. So yeah, he's definitely viable again, generally speaking. And then next up, and this is the last question for this week, is who saves the enemy team from your team's ult kills the most, Lucio or Mei? It's definitely Lucio, dude. Now, this might just be me with my personal bias because Lucio has fucked me over more than any other hero. I still very vividly remember the great fucking that I experienced, which was attacking Hanamura's second checkpoint, push up onto the high ground, as you do, earth shatter the entire enemy team on the balcony. Lucio slides in and just pushes all of them right off the edge of the balcony onto the point. And when I asked him why the fuck he did that, because obviously none of them died after that, when I asked him, why the fuck did you do that? He just went, lol, don't take it so seriously. Which did little to make me any more happy about the situation, strangely enough. So I've carried that bias with me for the rest of my entire life, basically. Mei, like, the most Mei has ever fucked me over is just, like, she's walled me off when I tried to charge in, which is, like, annoying, but less terrible than I've had experiences with Lucio. So, definitely Lucio. People just have the vitriolic reaction to whenever Mei does it, because a lot of people already don't like Mei. You know what I mean? You probably don't like Mei that much. At least playing against or with Mei, right? Like, Mei's kind of annoying to have in the game for, like, most parties involved, to be honest. But, you know, you can say that about a lot of people that used to be in the defense category when that existed. Can you believe there used to be a defense category in this game? God, so many people said so many stupid things about the defense category. Oh my god. Widow was always better on attack than defense, but if you picked Widow on attack, they'd go, why are you picking a defense hero? We're attacking right now. You picked Mei while you're attacking? Why are you picking a defense hero? We're attacking now. You pick, like, fucking Soldier on defense, like, why are you picking an attack hero? We're defending right now. People said so many stupid things because of that category. Can you believe there also used to be a message that said, when you're, with the team messages, when you're picking the team comp, it says, like, it used to say no snipers, which everybody bounded together to immediately say, we gotta get rid of this message right fucking now. People are picking snipers in terrible situations because the fucking game says no snipers on your team. We gotta get rid of that right fucking now. That was a terrible idea to have that there. Anyway, it's definitely Lucio is the short version. We're getting way off topic now. Gotta wait for the game to finish before we end now. Such is life. They finally did it. The absolute mad lads announced that they're putting Roshi into the game, which is amazing. They've shown us basically nothing yet. It was a very short trailer, way shorter than usual, which is not exactly surprising given the state of the world. So they didn't really show us very much other than, like, his auto combo and one of his supers. We don't even know which one it is. I think it's probably his level 3, but it might be his level 1. where he, the evil containment wave, where he grabs you and puts you in the jar, and then he corks the jar and says, that takes care of that. And it does the dramatic whoosh lines for him putting the cap on the bottle. He basically, from the 5 seconds of gameplay we've seen, he looks like everything I ever dreamed he would be. So I'm very excited. He comes out in September sometime. They didn't tell us exactly when, and I wait eagerly for the release of my beautiful turtle boy, whom I've been waiting for since the game launched. And it doesn't matter how bad he is. He's getting played. It's how it has to be. He's one of those things where he could be the bottomest bottom tier hero, but I don't care. We're playing Roshi until the day we die, pretty much. I hope he doesn't end up being like the best hero in the game, because then I'm gonna have to play against a lot of Roshi, and mirror matches are terribly tedious in like every single game, aren't they? Let's be honest now. This is what makes me like not super excited to play like Ultra Instinct Goku, even though I like him gameplay-wise. He's just very popular. And I don't really like to play the popular ones all that much. It seems hard to imagine a lot of people being drawn to Roshi, though. You know? I don't think too many people, at least people that weren't like me, were sitting waiting with bated breath, like, when are they gonna put that beautiful turtle boy in the game? So hopefully that'll even it out a little bit, you know. I'm gonna show you the Roshi trailer just because I really, like, I fucking love the, like, corking animation just because of how fucking dramatic it is. It's absurd, and I love it, and I've been waiting my whole life for this point. Let's bring it over here. We watch now. And I'll have, hopefully future me remembers to put the sound in. Most of this trailer isn't actually Roshi. We got Kefla. Kefla was cool. We got Goku. Goku was cool. People complained and cried. Who's next? This is when you knew it wasn't going to be a terribly exciting trailer. It's just the lobby. That takes care of that. I love it. It's so dramatic for corking a bottle. My beautiful turtle boy. And that's it. That's everything they showed us about Roshi. But he's coming. So now, who remains is the real question. Who is left? My heart hopes that Hercule is next, but I feel like that may be asking too much. I think that the next two heroes, the next two characters, I don't know the order, but I think the next two are going to be Raditz and Omega Shenron. And I'm going to be very disappointed about Raditz, but I feel like Raditz is an inevitability of time that they'll put him in eventually. And Omega Shenron also just seems like an inevitability of time after they put GT Goku in. I would not have guessed that had they not already put GT Goku in. So it seems like we're going to have to get a villain from GT at some point, and Omega Shenron would make the most sense. Though it would be pretty funny if they pick Super 17. If they pick Baby, that's it. I'm sorry, Fighterz is cancelled. We're gonna have to just cancel the whole damn thing if it's Baby. So, my beautiful turtle boy, next month, sometime. Very exciting. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to answer. If you have any questions that you'd like to see answered on the show, please post a comment, join the Discord, do whatever you want, email them to me. It'll get there somehow. One of these questions wasn't even on a Q&A video. It was just a comment on another one, but I was about to record anyway, so I thought we might as well lump it in. I started streaming on Twitch Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. EST to 11 EST. It's linked to the channel in the description. If you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future. And I hope you found the video helpful.